Texas Barons podcast. Let's go.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
We ready to rock and roll?
Oh, I am.
Awesome. What's up, everybody? We have a super special guest today. It's Mr. Tanner Lucking, and he is a co-owner of the world-famous, my favorite pizza, Stone Oven, down here in downtown Wichita Falls. It's so great. You've heard me and other guests talk about it. We like to, at the end of these shows, talk about our favorite local restaurants and just give people shout-outs. And you get brought up a lot.
Do I
And
really?
yes, Stone Oven gets brought up a lot. And
Yeah,
if my guests don't, a lot of people like bringing up different pizzas. And I'm like, have you tried Stone Oven? And so, yeah, we talk about it often. And anyways, we're going to hear all about the pizza world and see what Tanner else has going, or what else Tanner has going on in his life. And man, he also brought us some beautiful this month's edition, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. See,
Tell us about what we got here, man.
Well, so it's starting this month. It's a Philly cheesesteak on a pizza. The thing I think I might be lacking though, as I told you earlier, was the mushrooms.
Okay.
We sautéed the bell peppers and onions like you would do on a Philly cheesesteak. One of my managers, Jason Craven, natural chef, he made his own version of Chipotle aioli.
Okay.
So he put that on the bottom, mozzarella, provolone. That, and then obviously the what would you classify as the steak?
Yeah, the beef, I guess,
beef,
just
yeah.
the beef, whatever it is.
I don't know if it's like chuck steak or but it's like puck steak,
I think it depends on which restaurant you're going to.
right? Because I mean, obviously, I'm not well informed of like definitions of what like or the vocab of words, like the food.
Yeah.
I'm very bad with that.
Gotcha.
So, I for being an owner of a restaurant, I'm pretty fucking dumb.
It's okay. Completely okay. And that's part of this podcast is to help put more info out there and more resources to.
However, not a chef I am, but somehow I'm making it.
There you go. There you go.
So you want to do a taste test right now?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
It's
Let's
kinda
get
cool
into
now.
this.
So I hope they can AMSR. The hero.
Yeah. Damn, bro. That's just good.
Give you a couple bites in, man.
I'm already just 1M, 10 out of 10.
No, you're kissing my ass now. Have you on the Chipotle aioli?
Is that the spice I'm tasting?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. It's different for sure. It's not what you expect going into a pizza. But I'm also a fan of your, what do we call it? Good sauce? Is that the name of it? I really like that. And that has like a hint of like sriracha or something in there, right? There's just the right amount of heat to where it's not overwhelming. And that's a similar warmth, it's not too spicy.
I like that
warmth.
Description of warmth.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's super good. I actually ate had a pretty good breakfast sandwich. I didn't know 8th Street Coffee across the street had any good food. And then I went in there just kind of curious.
I don't hear that.
No, not in a mean way. I just didn't know that it was
You
a
just go for the
thing.
coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I've ever like empty on my coffee pot, then or like out of coffee, I'll just go over there and fill my cup up, whatever. And then I didn't even know that.
What'd you try?
It was a breakfast patty melt and had instead of like 2 beef patties, it was a couple of sausages in there and built like a normal patty melt. And then it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And
I think
then
they have one that's like has an avocado with it.
Okay.
And like a lettuce wrap, if
Yeah.
I'm correct.
Yeah.
I fuck with that.
cool. Sounds good, man.
We're
Sounds
actually,
good.
now you say that, I am trying to work on like a breakfast kind of, not a pizza.
Yeah.
It was a pizza originally, but we actually are working on doing like a kind of like a calzone.
Okay.
We take it to go.
Okay.
And
Cool.
Jason, he like I said, he's a chef. I'm more of the one that's just like more of the marketing kind of stuff.
Right.
But he was like, dude, why don't we just like
Pull this up close to you so we
Oh,
can
my
hear you
bad.
well. You're good.
Um,
you get comfortable and you just
yeah,
move
I
that
just
wherever
lean
you want to.
back,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And
gotta
you
be
can
like
extend
that.
it out as well with that big knob right here.
This one right
in
here?
the middle. Yeah. And then you can draw that whole. This sounds goofy. That whole shaft. Oh, wrong knob.
Yeah, I
My
was
bad.
like-
Tighten that one back up, the little one. Yeah. You can bring that whole shaft towards you. Yeah, there you go. And you
Like
get as
that.
comfortable as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good, man. That sounds good.
Now that's like I gotta probably lean that down a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold it.
There you go.
So we're gonna do like it's kind of like mini calzones, and then we'll
Okay.
just put like like bacon, egg, and cheese kind of
Okay.
thing.
I like
But
that.
the chipotle aioli works well with it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm talking to El Peon over here, like by the yard.
Who's that?
So Tacos y Tortas.
Okay,
El Peon.
okay, cool.
They just, I think that's like a little like long in their description name. I think originally it's just like El Peon.
Okay.
But what was I getting at? So I talked to her about getting her sauces. So like,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
You know,
that would be good.
Right. Like,
For sure, man.
they're
And
like-
we need a little bit more breakfast options around here, at least downtown. There's some uptown, but
I mean, there's Gidgets, there's 8th Street, there's the Duck. What
the
else?
burrito shop is just right over here on
The
9th
burrito
Street.
shop.
I really
don't know,
like.
maybe there's a little too much.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But hey, good competition never hurt anybody besides the bad
And
competitor.
it's hard
so-
dough.
Okay.
You know, just like kind of rolled up, and so it's not really exactly like a tortilla.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what makes ours stand out. You know, it's actually like dough they use for pizza.
Gotcha.
So I think it would have a little more texture for the dough.
Okay,
You know, it might be
okay.
like slightly different than burrito. So that's what we're gonna try to do too.
Cool,
This
man.
month, and like actually keep it on the menu to boost mornings.
Cool.
To see if people want to do
Yeah,
that.
for sure, for sure. I've been wondering if y'all draw in a big crowd from the courthouse. Do you see a lot of like county employees?
Here and there.
Okay,
You know,
I
here and there.
gotcha,
They
I
mainly
gotcha.
take. It varies on days, you know, but then they'll be like either dining in or to go.
I gotcha.
But I'm trying to. I lost my train of thought. What's the
We were
next
talking
question?
about just you have a concept of a breakfast, basically calzone.
Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. Now I still
Okay.
want to do maybe like an actual pizza.
Okay.
I tried doing hash browns on a pizza.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
Yeah, potatoes I see can get weird.
But
for
see,
you.
but we did mashed potatoes when we did that Thanksgiving pizza,
Okay.
and it fucking worked.
Huh.
So I figured no. I tried to do some spicy ketchup with
Okay,
it.
okay.
You know, like from Whataburger.
Yeah.
And some eggs. It just needed something else, so we tried adding meat. Nah, too
I
much
gotcha.
hash
Yeah,
browns.
yeah.
And the thing is, it doesn't get crispy enough when you put it in the oven
Okay.
because you put the toppings on top.
right,
so
right.
that kind of like was like a letdown.
I gotcha. Well, man, y'all are clearly trying. I like the fact that you're incorporating all these small companies around us. And then just like a couple months ago, you put out a feeler of who has the best waffles in town. And I was like, what the hell is Tanner cooking up over here?
You're like, is it?
Uh-huh. And I even put in a suggestion. I think Carrot has super good waffles, but who'd you end up going with? Chickadees? That's right. And they're a food trailer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And she was great.
Cool.
You know, we got to go on, do the news reported it, like
Okay.
they did a cover of it. So it was her first time. I guess she got to be on the air.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole new adventure for her.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it was a good thing. It wasn't actually my favorite because I was maybe too nitpicking about it.
Mm-hmm,
But we did a pineapple maple syrup with it.
Okay.
And that was kind of like Jason's idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him credit where credit's
Yeah,
due. That
heck
dude
yeah.
comes up
Shout
with
out
some-
Jason, for sure.
Yeah, Jason Craven, man.
Cool.
He should own his restaurant one day.
Heck
His,
yeah, heck yeah.
But so now I'm trying to like brainstorm some more.
Yeah.
But I got to give a shout out to like Ryan Thomas over
Okay.
at the Deep End now.
Okay.
Because they're doing like pizza dogs. And I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
You mother. Like I was like, now we got to compete a little more.
Okay, what is that? Like just a hot dog wrapped up in a pizza? What?
No. I think it's just they put the sauce, the cheese, and maybe some pepperonis on top.
Okay.
I mean, so I think it's very simple to do.
Okay.
But I mean, I've seen pictures of it in the past, and he actually went and did it. So I was like, that motherfucker. Actually,
Yeah.
like it. All right, now we got some competition over at the
That's
Deep
right.
End.
That's right. And I seen their whole post about we have an actual pizza oven in, and we put our hat in the ring to be Texoma's best, and hopefully a T-shirt company won't get it this time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had to do all the digging of what had happened and then why
Oh,
they
do you
were.
know the story or no?
Well, yeah, I finally figured it out, but I didn't know how they came up with their results.
I think it must have been just like someone just overlooked, meant to put rapid fire, and
Okay.
just like somehow must have looked at Ramble, like R-A and R-A-P, whatever, and just mixed it up.
I gotcha. For people that don't know, Ramble and Company won Texoma's Best Pizza last year, and they are, I guess, primarily clothes.
Only
and
clothes.
Clothes and art and some different supplies and stuff like that, but no pizzas.
Yeah.
And so something got mixed up with the whole Texoma's best part.
And you know what? Like, I just played on it, right? Like, I was at each day, like, I was just, like, making comment, because I thought it was a hot topic. So, like, let's just keep marketing on it. I wasn't really, like, you know, complaining or mad that I didn't win.
Right.
I didn't care that we didn't win.
Yeah.
But, like, the first day was like, hey, so shout out to the Rambo Co. for winning. And then the next day, they put us in Fyros. Then I tagged Fyros, like, hey,
Cool.
so they had us both win.
Uh-huh.
And Dane was like, who's also known her, was like, I don't think they ever do that. I'm like, I guess they must have just gave it to us because they fucked up.
Weird.
And then the third day or the fourth day, they kept checking. I was like, let's make sure that they're not like, you know, they don't change it up and we just make a false claim. And then they did. They gave it to Rapid Fire, and I was like, well, crap, like, you know, which I'm cool with, but I didn't want to like say that we're taking it from Rapid Fire and claiming that it was our own when, you know, I was going based on what I saw on the website.
Right.
So
I gotcha. And then which one's Rapid Fire? Is that one over by Which? No. Mm-hmm. It's over on Taft? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's right. And they're the ones that can get it out in like a minute or two or something like that.
They're pretty fast with this right here.
I gotcha.
But and I don't know. I think their prices are still cheap.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I looked on their website because, you know, when, you know, with inflation, I look at the other competitors and I'm like, you know, because we, you know, I try to pay our employees a pretty good wage.
Good.
For like just pizza.
Yeah.
You know, because gas is high and everything. Exactly. So I'm like, I'm trying to adjust to it, but like, obviously we have to like increase prices to do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like looking over at Rapid Fire and I'm like, they haven't changed their prices at all. How are they making a profit?
Yeah.
You know, because cheese is expensive. Yeah. I mean, even meat.
I bet all the stuff that you have to get delivered off a big old truck or big old box truck or whatever, I bet it's just skyrocketed on you, man. Because deliveries, I mean, I was right at the beginning of all this diesel and gas increases. I was still in the heavy equipment business. And man, I was almost like daily or weekly, like telling my routine customers, hey, I'm going up each load. I'm having to go up a couple bucks. Because, man, diesel was just climbing like the guy. What's that little game on? Bob Barker used to. The Wheel of Fortune. Isn't that the one where they guess the numbers or whatever?
I think so.
Anyways, they have a little game.
Oh, yeah.
And the little mountaineer climber guy.
No. That's so wait, what'd you say it was?
It's not Wheel of Fortune.
It's The Price is Right.
Price is Right. There you go. And they have that little game. The little man is climbing, and that was just what diesel was doing, man. And that's what my prices had to do.
How much did it take for you to fill up a tank?
Man, so funny story. Right when I bought my dump truck, it was a full-size semi-truck, just had a big old dump bed on the back, and then it had two 130-gallon tanks, or so 130-gallon tank on each side of it. And then so when I started and bought that truck, I filled up both those tanks, and then I had another tank that set in my pickup truck that I could drive out to my tractors and fill up my tractors. And I put a total of 400, right at $400, 2 or 3 years ago, when things were pretty kosher.
Yeah.
And man, that got me far. That was like a full tank on the dump truck and almost a full auxiliary tank. And then so right at $400. And dude, when I sold that dump truck just earlier this year, one of the I quit filling them up because it got so expensive. I was doing half tanks, so to say, and that was right at $500. And then it had gone up a little bit more, and I did the math. It was going to be right at $1,200 to fill a stupid dump truck, just hauling dirt and rocks, man.
And how long does that last you?
It depends for sure, because what I do a lot of backhoe work, but I'd also do a lot of dirt selling and gravel selling. So my week could change, but if I was really going hard in that truck, selling a lot of dirt or whatever, it would last me about a week. And then, so, man, that's tough. That was one of the leading...
$1,200 a week.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to get, man.
Exactly. And then that is, that's actually considered long compared to the guys that just stay on the highways. You know, they drive from California to Texas to New York, you know. They're burning through diesel daily.
I got a taste of that. So when we did the blog party, like I said, I'm sometimes dumb about things. So I'm learning as I go, and we had a generator out. I didn't realize that generator took diesel.
Uh-oh.
So he was like, obviously I filled it up with gasoline, and I told the guy, and I was like, is this a tank? I filled it up with gasoline. He goes, oh, no, it's supposed to take diesel, and that's not even the part that you're supposed to fill up.
Oh, no.
I was like, he's like, so what you got to do is you got to drain that all out. We'll siphon it all out, and you got to go fill it all up, because they would charge us $10 a gallon.
Oh, my God.
They do it, unless we did it, and I was like, fuck. So I think I spent like $250 to I think almost $500.
I believe it, man.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And after that block party we did, that was already like up in like over $6,000.
Yeah.
I think. And so I was like, damn, I'm just really bleeding our bank right now
for
this.
Yeah,
so,
man. And that sucks whenever you get into positions like that, because you want to provide such a good experience during those type of things. And man, it gets you to the point of having to be so on top of your budget to not let down the people that are willing to pay you to come experience what you're putting on. And I just witnessed this, I guess secondhand, but I watched that Woodstock 99. Have you seen that on Netflix?
No, I heard people talk about it.
You need to watch it, man, because you see two men, one of them being the original co-founder of the 69 or 64, whatever the first Woodstock was, coming back in 99. They tried it in 94. It sucked. And then in 99, the same guy, I think Mark Lang was his name, something like that. Anyways, tries again. And he goes into his industry buddies, finds somebody that's willing to invest in him. And then this company wants to be a full, like 50% partner on Woodstock 99. And then they put together a budget, and it was like the biggest budget for a entertainment event that anyone had seen up until 99. Well, so everyone that was in charge of like planning entertainment or like, getting a stage put in or lights, whatever, they thought, man, we had unlimited budget. Like there was no bottom to this hole. And so they were just spending money. And then come to find out, the two guys in charge pretty quickly was like, whoa, we're spending too much money immediately. So that put them in a bind, like from the get-go, because they were so focused.
They spent so much at the beginning.
Exactly, getting corn. They got corn. They got Limp Bizkit. They got so many of those old people that we used to listen to.
And they say that like they blame Limp Bizkit for being the factor of it. And it's
right.
like, no, it was already on a bad path.
Like,
I watched, do you follow this YouTube channel called Weird History? Well, they covered it, and they like said everything. Like there's the porta potties that were eventually leaking out, and people were like wrestling and some shit.
Ooh, yes,
I was like, you didn't
so
smell
bad.
that? Yeah.
So bad. But it just kind of got straight to... it was poor management, and then their eyes kind of overweighed their normally the saying is your stomach, but their budget. So they got way too far ahead at first, and then tried, reeling everything back in. We got to save money on this. We got to pinch these pennies here and there. And yeah, they let the food go, they let the security go, they let the sanitary go, and that was with the porta potties and the trash cleanup. And so,
did they even make their money back?
No. Dude, it
bombed.
turned into basically just things that you see in Afghanistan, like in I don't know. Think of
no structure.
Yes, just a war zone. It turned into a freaking war zone. I don't want to spoil it completely for you, but it went full chaos.
Did they get like any criminal charges?
I can't remember how it turned out, and if they didn't, it's pretty lucky, because the state, the DPS had to come shut the whole thing down finally, but it took like an entire weekend. It was like Sunday night before.
So was it like a week vacation? Like, it was
a weekend thing, and then I think it started on Friday night. I can't remember, but yeah, these guys went into it thinking that, and we don't have to talk about Woodstock the whole time, but it's just a good story of poor management, but they went into it thinking. Like they were still in the 60s, and the teens and 20s, and those people. Didn't they try
to do another one? I think there was one like a couple of years ago that they were trying to like throw another Woodstock. It got canceled.
Good. And because probably no one wanted to invest in it again, because 94 and 99 was bad. And 94 wasn't as bad, but 99 was.
Oh, there's a third one? I didn't know about a third one.
Yeah.
That's like 60s.
Yeah, so they
99.
ran it pretty far in the 60s. I don't know if it made it to the 70s, but yeah, they tried it again in 94, and for some reason it was just a flop. Like, I think the people weren't as interested, or tickets. Oh, no, the weather ruined it. They were in a lot of grassy fields, and that turned into just a mud pit, and then the weather was too bad to have the entertainment come out. Well, they got I think bought an old military airport. So they're like, we have all the concrete in the world.
Yeah, but it was so hot that people were on yeah, exactly. I know about that one.
Yeah, so another bad management thing. So
you know, have you gone to many festivals?
I've been to Larry Joe Taylor Fest a lot, and then that's in Stephenville. It's like kind of some honky-tonk shit. But okay. I've also been to not South by Southwest, South by So What in Arlington at the QT Stadium, and that's like Sleeper, just the smaller heavy metal bands.
Oh, and so I don't know if you go to it, but it was this EDM festival. I'm not, personally, when it comes to EDM, I kind of like zoned out about it now, about festivals, because I've been to a bunch, and they kind of get really repetitive. But I wanted to go to Electric Forest because have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it. I've never.
Have you seen pictures of it?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is the only festival I think I truly loved throughout the end. The one in South Padre is pretty cool. Okay. The first year, but man, it's like it's a big ranch, and there's like 5 to 7 stages, I think. Like there's the one by the entrance with a Ferris wheel and a hot air balloon that you could ride. You know, then you got the big stage by the Ranch Arena, and then you got like the forest part, which if you look up, you'll see like pictures, like a bunch of lights and tall trees and Art Deco. That's like the 3/4 of the way through, and then you make it to the end and like Sherwood Court is like the very end of it, and then like off to it, there's like a circus little place where you can get like a free haircut. Putt-putt, I think, and then like a disco. In the forest, there's silent disco. There's like a maze. There's like things you can interact with and like art exhibits. Man, that is a great festival going. Not for the music. Yeah. I don't even care like for the music. I wanted to get lost. Yeah. Which I did. Cool. I always tell the story. Not trying to promote drugs.
Yeah, it's cool though. It's hey.
But
it's
I was like, you know what? Like with the lights, I need to lose myself. Bad mistake. Okay. So. I'm camping with some friends, and like the first day, I'm like, hey, I don't even care like to look at the map. I just want to lose myself in this place. And my friends are like, okay, cool, but remember, like we got to see Odessa back at like 9:30. I'm like, all right. No phone service is like barely anywhere.
Of course, that's all festivals, man.
Yeah, especially I think the only phone service that did work was either one AT&T or Verizon. Like one of the two had service. No one else did. So I get like I'm starting to feel it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna walk into the forest now, and like there's just a bunch of people. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm enjoying it, and there's this piano over here, and this guy just raging. Like he's just pressing this key down, and I'm like, what's going on over here? So like I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He goes, man, so like this key, it doesn't work. So what we're gonna go do is we're gonna go over here and we're gonna call them to fix it. I'm like, okay. And then he walks over to his phone. He's like, so yeah, we're gonna call them right now. And he's just banging the phone like he did the key. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm up for this challenge right now.
Yeah, this seems like a lot.
Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of energy. Yeah. And I'm early in it, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna walk back in, back that way. And I knew how to get back out. And man, when I got to that entrance, it was completely dark. Totem poles, like like the big sticks, people design them. They're actually pretty creative with a bunch of lights everywhere. I'm like, I'm lost as fuck. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. So, and there's some people also lost as well on this journey. Yeah. Like they're over there by the entrance, and I'm like calling my friend up. And he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I'm lost. I need.
I'm just glad he could get a hold of you.
Yeah, I was like, I need you to come pick me up. He goes, okay, where are you at? And I look above. There's this big, and you can look it up on like Google. It's like Sherwood Forest, and I'm like, I'm by this sign, and he's like, okay, man, I'll be there in like 5-10 minutes, and then I'm like, cool. So during the wait, I encountered some people. There was this guy that was there were people yelling, Carl,
like off The Walking Dead.
Yeah, not kind of like that, but they're like, where's Carl? And you hear people chanted back to him. Yeah. And so during the first day, I was like yelling it back. And then like this guy was like next to me, and they yelled, he goes, yeah, man, that's all cool, but it's kind of really fucked up how that happened. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, so like the PC thing is the guy's name's not Carl. I forgot his name. We'll call him John.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, so yeah, John apparently like one time took 2 tabs of acid, gets in a fight with his girlfriend, gets in this van with a bunch of people, and is never seen again.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh. He goes, yeah. So when people yell at, they're actually yelling for his name because they're still looking for him, but they can't find him. And just looks at me and walks away. And I was like, damn, I'm lost right now. This is not a good thing. No. And so, and then like shortly after, like, you know, my friend calls me and goes, hey man, I'm by it. I'm like, cool. I'm standing right underneath the sign. He goes, yeah, I don't see you. I'm like, I am right above it.
Yeah.
To my left, there are 4 ATM machines.
Yeah.
He looks at it and he's like, yeah, man, there's no ATM machines right here. I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm looking at 4 right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's like, well, I'll check the other side. And I didn't realize this, but there's like 2 entrances on each side, on both sides. So there's 4 entrances. Yeah. So 1 of 4 I'm at.
Gotcha.
So and so I'm like, oh man, I'm gone. Talking to some people, they're like, yeah, I'm gone. I see 4 cops walking by. I'm like, I'm not the dude they're gonna look at like, we can get this guy.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm just sitting here like my back face against him, like trying to just like calm down and just be comfortable.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking to this one dude, and my friend calls me at the same time, and I'm like, hey, man, yeah, so explain the same situation. The guy's like, you're not at the Sherwood Court. You're at the Ranch Arena, dude. Hand me the phone. He's like, hey, man, so this location, like on this end. He's like, okay, yeah, you'll be here.
And cool. This was a cop that did it?
No. It's just another guy.
Okay, cool.
And then he just looks at me like I was fucking retarded. And he goes... Here you go.
There you go.
It was nice meeting you, man. Bye.
Man, everyone needs like a saving, like an angel to come help out.
Oh, man, I hugged my friend so hard in that moment. Like, I was so glad. And then we went and saw Odessa, and that was a beautiful.
Cool, man. Cool.
Like, so it was a great journey. Man, there's more stories about that place. I felt like I lived there, and it was like 4 days. Yeah. It was a great trip, just for the people in it, not even the music, just the people around. Everybody, the people you're camping around with were engaging. I befriended all of them. Cool. And ironically, one of the tents I was next to, he knew the family that the John ended up missing. Oh, he knew them. Huh. So I was like, whoa, this is like really
small world for such a big place, you know.
Yeah. Okay. And people get comfortable. Like this guy was just yelling out on like a microphone, like drugs. I got drugs.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
gosh.
man, like you are playing.
That's brave, man.
Yeah, you're rolling dice on that. But in the end, and I'll finish the story up, it's like, you know how I kept telling everybody, said Carl? I got so annoyed of it by like the second day. So I finally was like enraged. I was like, squirrel, pearl. Like I'm just trying to rhyme it. Yeah. Dude, it caught on. Some people were starting to like, it was in the proximity, of course, but like people were like yelling, pearl, squirrel, merle. Yeah. No, not feral. I don't know, but they were. You get the gist. They were like, so I was like, "Thank you!" Like, just start screaming and like
anything else. Yeah.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
And then T-Pain played there.
Oh, nice, dude! What a treat, dude! That would be so amazing to see him in any performance because man, he doesn't just need auto tune. He's like an angel on the mic with no auto tune. You know? I think he was. I know. I listened to a little like mini doc on him. He was looking for his edge, and everyone was great singers at the moment. And then auto tune. Oh, it was the Nappy Boy Records. They were in the studio, and he was like, "Let's just turn this all the way to 11. You know, let's see what this one does." And that put that auto tune voice on him. And
so I'm not correct, but I think the pioneer for auto tune might have been Kanye West, or he was the very early adopters of it.
He was, and then they blamed Cher for being the first to use it mainstream with what was that catchy one when we were little kids? Do you believe in life after love? And she sounds like an alien or a robot in that song, and that was the first one that really caught on. And then it was
damn it, Cher.
T-Pain and someone else. Really took the throne or took the torch and ran with it at first. But yeah, man, he's a hell of an artist, and I like seeing him nowadays because like we're all grown. He's a little bit older. It's like seeing your idols grow up and stuff like that. It's just awesome.
He's more
to
like
see.
he's really chill dude. He looks like so. I would have a beer with him for
sure. And then I think he said majority of his money. I listened to him on Steve-O's podcast. And then majority of his money is coming from what's the video games where you live stream?
Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch is what is a lot of his money's coming from. It's like, man, to have already a good following on anything,
Well, that's
and to be able to capitalize on it, on just anything, whether it be selling feet pics or watching.
I'll sell some feet pics.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So, man,
I'll say this though. That's the one issue that they had the debate about. Like when YouTube was pretty much small fish try to make it big.
Yeah.
And then big names, big celebrities are starting now. Hey, Jack Black, Will Smith, and others were like, hey, I'm gonna make my mark on it. It's like, well, now you're taking that market from people who are not already a celebrity trying to be one.
Yep.
So I'm okay with it, but at the same time, I'm like, you already have so much capital. Do you really need to be
taken from these little bitty platforms, when they have such a big one on such a grand scale of different things. Yeah,
but I mean, at the same time, it's a free market.
Yep.
They can do what they want, and I'm like, I'm sure if I was in that point, I'd be doing podcasts or YouTube.
Oh
videos.
yeah, people. I mean, well, think of Joe Rogan for example. His does so well because he has access to people that he's been in the industry with for 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah, he can get Tony Hawk, he can get Shaquille O'Neal, whoever it be. Some of them, he just did Mark Zuckerberg the other day, one of the most famous people in the entire world.
Has he done what's his name? Jeff Bezos yet?
No, not Bezos. He's got Elon on there, and then Jack Dorsey, the original creator of Twitter, and then all those guys had a lot of good shit to say. Very, very interesting. And then Zuckerberg was pretty interesting as well, but he was doing a lot of kind of like a defense attorney of Joe would ask him certain things and he'd be like, well, that's not what it's intended for, or we go about it this way, yada yada. And I'm like, we all use Facebook. We see the censorship. We see what gets, they were calling it ranking in the algorithm.
Oh, you're talking about with the whole Hunter Biden kind of thing?
Yes, they brought that up.
So to clarify that, they never
pull that mic up to you. Tilt that up. See how mine's at a 45?
Okay, let me. Okay, I think it's. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, that one, and then tilt. If you want to keep that down, you can tilt this little.
It's all right. I think I'm gonna hold it like this.
And then if you need to, you can turn that one around, just spin the whole thing. Yeah.
That makes.
There you go. That'll probably save you right there.
How long have you been doing that?
Well, I just thought about it while I was watching you hold it. But
yeah, I was like, man, I mean, it's a chore to keep remembering to hold it.
For sure. I don't want that falling in your lap.
I think that's how to disinformation that. I think they never said particularly the Hunter Biden. They said there's just a bunch of disinformation going on. And it was a broad term. Now, I think that's what he was saying is they didn't say particularly the Hunter Biden, but it was jumbled in that whole disinformation thing. Which is fine. We know the FBI is investigating it, but I mean, what comes of it? Is there anything in it that actually is of substance, or just pictures of him with hookers?
Have you ever seen
stuff?
it? Or the stuff that got leaked a couple weeks ago?
Was it just a bunch of hookers and stuff?
It was him with a bunch of hookers doing a bunch of blow.
Okay.
Well, not even blow. They were freebasing it. So, yeah, they were going all in on it.
That's the thing. It's okay, cool. What is it of the use of that laptop? Is there anything criminally? Him doing drugs, sure. Cool. But is there anything over there in Ukraine that people are trying to accuse him of that you can't actually charge him on?
Exactly.
So that's my whole problem with it. I mean, I don't know. As much as I try to be optimistic and try to do entrepreneur things here, I told you earlier, I was trying to open a nightclub.
Yeah.
I had to get a fire suppression system.
I got you. Yeah, let's dive into that. So let's rewind just a little bit, and then you give us the rundown on what you've been working on.
Oh fuck! Why are you asking me?
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool.
Well, okay. So that's the more important thing right now.
Okay.
Startup and still, I'm involved in. I'm owner in.
Mm-hmm.
I just got done finished doing the business plan. Send it to the guy who's supposed to give me the loan, and
okay, cool. Who'd you decide? Was it a conventional bank, or was it
no,
private?
it's a personal friend.
Okay,
it's just someone who owns property that's a really good friend of ours.
Cool.
And I told him when Stoneman started out, I wanted him to know the numbers where it started at and where it's at.
Cool.
Because I knew that if I can get him to see it, he would help me in this. And Dane's also going to help, obviously be my partner. And,
Cool.
Because that's how I met Dane. Is I met him because I went to go see my dad up in like Idaho, and I was trying to mend the family relationship because my grandpa and my dad haven't talked in like 20 years.
Okay.
Neither has my aunt.
Okay.
She hasn't talked to him in 20 years. So like my grandpa like broke his hip and looked like he was like decreasing on health. So I wanted to fix the family relationship before like his time passes because like that's his kids, and if they don't get to say what they want to say to him before he passes, like I know that that's gonna eat them alive, and stuff.
Look at you, man, trying to mend those relationships.
I tried.
You're
It didn't work
guy,
out.
Tanner.
It didn't work out.
But hey, you tried, man. That's all. That's important.
Well, to get to the point of it, so when I went up and met his wife at the time, like she was up there. She was like, I don't see you as being an attorney because I was going to follow my mom. Political science, being an attorney. She's like, I see you as an entrepreneur. And my whole goal was always to open a nightclub in Wichita Falls. Okay. But it doesn't matter how. Okay. Like, do I go that route and just save up money or do I try to be an entrepreneur? So, luckily, I befriended someone, Michelle Kramer at the time. Her, Dane, and I were all kind of close. Like, her and Dane were close and then me and her, but, like, we didn't establish that bond yet. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, I just want to kind of get some insight to understand, the future business, like how to handle it whenever that time comes. So I met Dane one day and he was like, hey, man, like, why don't you just write a business plan down? If I like it, I'll invest. And so I did for what I knew at the time, like having no experience. This is like at 22.
How old are you now?
26.
Okay, cool. Oh, I didn't know I was older than you. I just turned 27 the other day.
Really?
Yeah. I figured you're older than me.
Bro, no, I mean, you're really 27?
Yeah, I just turned 27.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man. I'm class of 13. What were you? Class of 14?
14 for sure. What school did you go to?
Owl Park.
I went to Holiday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Mitch Lundy's one of my best friends. He's
I knew the one. I knew
2 years. Oh yeah, Malia would have been.
Melina. Yeah, I think she was a year.
Okay.
After
Small
me.
world, man. Small world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in Holiday, big time, running with all them. So.
Yeah. It's a good school.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. I wish I had more opportunities, but like obviously the size of it being.
The town's weird, but everyone wants to go there. That's like the weirder part. Like they're retrofitting a nice new town into an old shit town. And it's like
you can see there's like some new parts and some really old.
Yeah.
But that's the same with Wichita Falls.
Yeah,
like you go to Avenue stuff. Like
true.
So if I ever became a realtor, I would definitely want to focus on like redoing like the downtown Avenue area, like rebuilding those houses and stuff. Anyway, so we tried looking for places. I even tried to get the Maplewood at one point. Yeah. Because I knew the previous owners before Danny, and I knew Danny at the time because he was also giving me advice.
Okay, cool.
And for like the starting capital and then experience and like the lease was like 3,300 plus rising. Man. Like each year they increase it. Yeah. It was like it was a gamble, and luckily Dane's like, no man, like downtown. And at first I was reluctant. I wasn't really for downtown, and I was like, I don't know, man. I just this is more where like it's close to the university. I'm so glad that happened. And I think Danny gave me some sound advice at that time where he said, you can try to start one now, and kind of implied it might fail, or like take your time with it, like and not rush it, and then watch it blossom. And so I learned with Stone Oven everything that like just to trust the process. Yeah. Because there's a point where I was like even like fuck Stone Oven. Yeah. Because at the time we were like we didn't own the building. Dane didn't own the building, and the guy that was owning it was like couldn't keep up with like doing the renovation parts of it, like like the HVAC and and stuff. For,
and is this the 7th Street location? Yeah. Okay.
So there's a point where like I was promised like, hey, we dining would start like we'd start working on dining in like January. I was like, okay, cool. No, December. No, we're gonna push to January. Now we're gonna do February. And at this point, I'm like, is it ever gonna happen? Yeah. Like, I am fucking livid. Like I put money in this. And at the same time, Dane was trying to acquire the building so we could do that. Gotcha. And that was like March 2019 and... No, was it 2020? And the pandemic happened. Damn, we did get it. We were at BNR and celebrating, like, I think it was March 13th. And then, like, of course, what was it, like, in April? Like,
it was right there in April when Wichita started getting real weird then.
Yeah, so I was like, we just got that started, open October 2020. And each time I was just like, I I can just relax and just like let it see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, let's just say in the past, like I didn't know where it's gonna. It could fail, right?
Yeah.
Like cool. I went to that journey. I knew it would end.
Yeah.
I went to the journey to end. And then I knew it would have. So like, what ifs? And I mean, we gotten this far so far. And
Yeah, man. So
Right.
were you involved with the location right next to Human Canvas? Right across the street from the mall?
So you're talking about the first or second location?
I guess that. I don't know.
So,
I
okay.
thought that was the first
So
one.
when it I think it's Next Level Nutrition that's in it. That's
Yeah.
the very first because it. So Rhiannon Biesinger, who used to own the Spot, were you old enough to be a part of the Spot?
I don't think so.
See, Ryan Thomas, what everybody talks about, the Spot was like kind of what Stone Oven is now. It's
Okay.
like, hey, open till late at night.
Okay.
It's I think till 2, and then like people like would go there, musicians perform there. Like I think that's what Ryan told me.
Gotcha.
So Dane ended up buying that, not from Ryan, but she sold it to a family, and then they sold it to Dane.
Okay.
He called it Stone Oven, and then it stayed there. Relocated to where the mall outlet that B&R's at. It's
Okay. Yeah.
it's Century Plaza.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then like when we opened the dine-in here, we still had that one.
Okay.
But to be honest, at that time, like 2 locations was not ideal for us because we still needed to solidify one foundation.
I gotcha.
Um,
Smart move.
It was, and I mean, I'm not saying I didn't have ownership, but we're paying a lease there.
Yeah, man.
this is you.
Bills start stacking up when you're
You're splitting the funds,
Yeah,
and we're like we're not at that point where we should split funds.
Yeah,
Now I think we could do. I still want to add some things before your franchise, but like to give it a good package.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there, but it's it still needs some phases because I had phases where we did late night.
Yeah.
I'm working on trying to do the breakfast one right now.
Yeah.
Want to get into doing subs, and then a dessert pizza.
Okay.
We tried fucking with that for a bit, but the problem is that our dough has like seasoning in it, spices.
Okay, yeah.
So like if you're trying to do something sweet, it kind of affects that.
If you already have something savory in there.
It's got like some salty garlic.
Some science needs to go in behind
Some
this.
science, and then we don't have like obviously our dough fridge is already filled up with our regular dough, so we'd have to allocate like a special fridge to it for
Right.
But I wouldn't be like that's something that we would work on later on. But so that's pretty much it. The late nights do great. That block party was a great turnout.
Yeah.
Like I mean that was good for Wichita Falls in general.
Yeah.
Like I think like I want to try to make it like Falls Fest.
Okay.
Bring it back to that level.
Okay.
But I need and as you're trying to look for sponsors,
Yeah.
right? Like we paid for the whole thing and like we're not saying we're like broke, but
Yeah.
we're not the richest.
Right.
We're not like Patterson or whatever. We're, where we can shell out like I don't know how to say exact amount. So I'll try and do one for October, but with me trying to open up a nightclub, I'm kind of like at a crossroads right now where I'm trying to do that passion.
Yeah.
And if I get more capital, because if it's gonna be like I have to fund it, we have to fund it ourselves. Then I need to let the bank stack more, and then we can put more to it. Because originally, the second time I wanted to expand out to another block, like over to 8th Street, make an L shape.
Okay.
And then like if we, that was successful, grow it to like another street.
Okay.
And then make it like a district block party, like like the art walk, but like there's always something going on.
That would be fun.
I mean, it would do so well. I mean, that would be a huge
Do you remember how successful? Did you ever go to P2 when they'd bring the Mullet Boys in and they would shut down whatever 15th Street or whatever that is, right? That goes in front of P2. They would shut that down and bring in a big old gooseneck trailer and let them set up stage in the road. And man, they would pack all the way from that road to like the parking lot of P2.
So why don't they?
I think people just stopped showing interest.
Was it the same performers every time? That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Like, so we have.
I think it was. It may not have been, but the one I went to was, and then I saw another one, and it was the same.
Well, and that, I guess that's why it cost so much because we were like, hey, I wanted that nice stage. We got a Breaking Point to come out. Like people really loved to beat the shit out of a car.
Yeah.
Inflatable, bounce house, like basketball kind of thing. Cool. And then we had like performers every 30 minutes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like that was a good like collection of different genres, different like local artists, some out of town. Because the people we partnered with which was Psychedelic Events. And they were like, hey, we know some people in Dallas Fort Worth.
Okay.
To give it a good mix. And I was like, yeah, but we gotta make sure to like put enough local in here where we're not like trying to like block them out of this opportunity.
Right.
So, and I was like, if we did it to the over by 8th Street, we could have 2 stages, one family friendly, one not.
Yeah.
So that way you could add more artists.
Keep the kids around. Yeah.
And be able to cater to both crowds. Because I think that's another problem like events is that I think sometimes they just cater too much about family friendly and trying to like what's probably instead of like if it's supposed to be like a party.
Yeah.
Then you need to like
let them party.
Let that age restriction go and just like let them loose.
Yeah.
This one guy. He raged a little too hard at the beginning. It was like 100-degree weather.
Gosh, damn, that's hard to rage in, man.
No, it was, and that's why. And we knew by the time it got like cooler out, darker out, people would really show up.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the people during the beginning up to that point still supporting those artists. And that's why we'll never do it in the summer again.
Yeah.
But where was I getting at? So this guy was like, "Hey man, kept trying to dance with me and stuff." And I was like, "Cool, man." He's like, "Hey man, you want some drugs?" I was like, "This is not the time for this, man."
No, man, I'm in control right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was pills, because this dude in the end was passed out in his own throw up, like just like head sunk into it on the table, and ambulance got called. That was the only person that someone had to like get out and get help with, because he was
acting a fool.
Oh, straight up, like you didn't even wait till it got dark out. He went in hard.
I mean, every party has one, and then that's the guy that
does not know how to control himself.
Exactly. But man, so it sounds like it was a successful run, though.
Yeah, I mean, the people were like, "Dude, do the Halloween," and I was like, "Cool, but I need sponsors. I need people to help make this a reality where it's not all us." I mean, if it is all us, it's just gonna take longer, and I'll dedicate to it. But like I said, I'm trying to work on pursuing that nightclub, which is gonna be like another party.
Yeah.
And I hope that my version of club, my ideas, like it'll make a successful one here, because I'm gonna give credit where credit due is. Well, Club Sip is not my personal taste in music. I respect them a lot for like making one and attempting it here. Yeah. Undeclared's trying to. To be.
I never really seen anything. I see way more about Club Sip on social than I do about Undeclared. I see Undeclared get recommended as a bar and grill on Yelp more than anything I see on Facebook or.
So I think. I mean, I'm not gonna dog them or anything. Yeah. I think that's just they've probably had a hard time trying to get like an identity. Huh. I mean, I don't know him personally. I know the people that work there personally, but I don't know the owner. Yeah. I didn't know one of the owners, but he's no longer there. Okay. But I mean, like I think he got dealt with the wrong owner in his speak, and now is trying to make what he can out of it, and so much respect to him. Like he just added Caleb Jordan into it, so I wish them the best. Like because there's businesses dying.
I know, man. And right, I know, and that's kind of what me and DJ Maniac talked about a lot on here. Was basically his whole childhood is starting to get slowly erased, and it started with Wichita General, and then because they just demoed that. And then Austin School, which is just up by the overpass, which is now apartments. And then we talked about the mall going down and Stage West. So many like landmark things of all of our childhoods are like slowly dying and dying.
But then there's a new wave, like of y'all now, like Mark is trying to make new entrepreneurs. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like think of Maniac's Mansion and the Deep End, like that stuff. We've had arcades here, but we've never had arcades to these calibers. Being the Deep End and Maniac's Mansion.
Yeah, like Tilt.
Exactly.
Before the Tilt, what was it called? It was something else.
I don't know. I've only known that one in the mall to be called Tilt. That Marcus worked at Tilt, decades ago. So, but yeah, man, I've been wanting to. Asked this question. I started a Facebook group for this podcast, and then everyone's welcome to it. If you can find it, Texas Barons Podcast on Facebook, just submit a request, whatever, I'll invite you in. But I like to talk about and just open the floor to different questions. And one I'm going to post is, why do you think the saying is Wichita Falls is the place businesses come to die?
Oh,
it's sad, man, but it has some merit to it.
So, in my take on it, like I was saying this about like you go to businesses and they kind of look the same. Would you agree that like some businesses tend to have that same format? Doesn't really stand out. Yeah. I think that's the problem. We keep also opening the same things over. Like I can't be hypocritical because pizzerias have been around like before Stone Oven and like just keep adding them. And it's like, okay, you're getting so much of the same kind of business model that how long does it take before y'all all are competing against yourselves? Where like there's not enough bread to go around for each other because you're and that's the thing. Like when people do events, if you add like so many taco trucks. Or food trucks in there and are the same kind of food truck, then you're kind of like competing against those other people just to try to get the same market. And it's like, there's not enough, especially our population, probably not enough to like justify that. I think that's the problem is like, I think they kind of stick to the same format. They look the same without, and like people, I've been told this about Stone Oven. And I think that's partly why we do so well is not only the food, but our dining, our environment. When they walk in, it's welcoming is what I've heard. It doesn't make you feel like it's in Wichita Falls.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that not feeling like Wichita Falls, like that says something that like really, it's sad to say. Like,
it's a good thing for Stone Oven, but then a sad thing for us as a culture here.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, like, I would love if we could paint the fucking buildings here downtown. Because some of them, I'm just like, if you just did a color, they pop. It make a pop to it. And so, but then that's the problem. Is like, we're trying to do this downtown direct group, and right now there's kind of like some personal things going on with other people involved in it. So like we can't really engage at the moment. But they're like, hey, do we want to add murals to this downtown? Do we want to like put, like we were talking about, like we put in money, all of us collectively put in funds together, and we like allocate to doing projects
around. I like that. Almost like a volunteer tax to help the whole downtown.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
It was the attempt, and then it hasn't gone far yet because we've been all like, there's some personal things going on with the leaders of it.
But man, you're gonna fight the city tooth and nail over this.
Well, the whole other thing is like they were just wondering like where's the bridge cross between downtown development and us, like which we're trying to, obviously we're all trying to be in this together kind of picture, but I was like, dude, let's do that, and the murals, and this guy was like, yeah, but like from my perspective of being the banker, if you paint this building, it devalues the building. I'm like, I think you're in the minority on this one, dude. Like, I get that, like, certain art, like, depending on how the art is or a color is, could affect it. Paint that bitch over.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Or we could just put up, like, we have on Stone Oven, there's, like, this piece of material that, like, Sorrow painted on it, and then we just mounted it onto the wall.
Okay, yeah.
So why not do that?
Yeah, and then have you seen what Selena did over there on Lamar, I think, 9th and Lamar at Loco for Cinco? They gave her and another woman, I think, big 9x10 or 10x10 panels to paint on, and then they screwed those to the wall. And so same thing, whenever whoever next comes up or they're tired of looking at Selena's work or Selena wants it, whatever, boom, just unscrew it, and then it's like it never happened. So yeah, there's way more than just one way to skin a cat, dealing with these old crappy buildings.
That's why I wish I won the lottery, because like everybody's like, what would you do with it? I'm like, I'd invest in the community, like just build projects around here, start businesses, because that would just help stimulate our economy here in Wichita Falls and like make it pretty. But we're getting off track. I'm trying to recall where we're going.
That's all right. We were talking about that group that y'all kind of put together and what y'all were facing.
I was trying to go off with something else. That's the problem.
Okay. And then we were talking about Peyton, and then how downtown Wichita Falls is going to be integrated with this group, and just the kind of the not the kickback, but the no's that you get on every single question that you bring up anything to.
What's I got a question for you. So like, out of the people you've interviewed, I guess you could answer if you want. Who was the most interesting to talk to so far, or what was the best conversation you had with a guest? Like, that was juicy.
So good, super good question, because so many people come from so many different walks of life, and then I think now this is just probably because he's older and has just more time on the ground. I think my dad's conversation was one of the best One, because I knew majority of it, so I knew the right questions to ask to force him to be a good guest. So that one was pretty good. But he, has 40 years as an entrepreneur and a politician. So he had super good just details to go into. And then I'll tell you, not the hardest one to listen to, but like the most not motivating, but kind of captivating was John Gillespie, our district attorney, because he talked about past trials and locking up these fucking monsters, dude. Just the people that he goes up against in court are their not majority, I don't know, but the ones that he brought up on the podcast, majority of them were child abusers. And me being a new dad, that's like
that hits you hard.
Villain number one right there.
Yeah.
Someone that would do anything to kids. So to hear John's stories about like, yeah, we gave him 3 life sentences, or we gave him 3 100-year sentences, blah, 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 or he hurt 8 people, so we gave him 8 sentences. And I'm like, that's badass.
So I got 2 points because I had someone, a friend of mine, Garrett, his daughter B was looking into, the whole like that death penalty. Like, so people are like, oh, they don't like the death penalty is worse for like people like that. Like they don't want to, jail's worse for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prison. I'm like, no, because I remember this interview that what's his name did, Ted Bundy did.
Tilt that, grab that weird little knob there, yeah, and then tilt that right there, and then tighten that weird knob.
Does it keep dropping?
Yeah, it's dropping on you, and it sounds way better, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, because I can hear myself too.
There you go.
So
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, basically, I think in an interview, when it was his first one. Or second, it wasn't when he was about to be on the death, like he was about to die, but he was talking about how like he's ready to die and stuff like that, like he's made his decision, and then up to the last minute, if I'm correct, he kept trying to do whatever he could to postpone that. He was trying not to die, and that to me right there showed that they're actually more scared that they want to be in prison. Yeah. So that's why I'm more for the death penalty and stuff like that, because I know deep down they ain't ready to die, because if there is a maker, they're not ready for that judgment. I'm not really. I'm more in the belief that like I don't know. Yeah. I'm just gonna live my life, do what I think is good, the best I can, and if in the end there is a God and He's like, you didn't believe me, you go here. I'm like, well then you're not a really good God. Yeah. Right. Like I'm like, man, like maybe Satan was right. Maybe we gotta take you over. Yeah. We're getting off topic, but you were talking about the district attorney stories. Yeah. And I was talking to Garrett, who used to be a police officer in Denton County. Okay. And he was telling me that, or Denton, I think, is it Denton County?
I know, at least what you're talking about.
Yeah. By in Denton. And so he was telling me that basically, like, he's a mix of 3, like white, Hispanic, and black, right? Okay. And he was saying, like, I asked him, do you think there's police brutality, from his experience? He goes, oh, definitely. I've seen both sides. And he told me this story. It was actually really interesting. He said that like for the longest time he couldn't get on. He was doing all the tests. He was acing them, but they just wouldn't get him through. And he said he got up to his third time, or he got up to like the final person. It was a black female. And he said that like the tests he would do, for example, would be like they would put a video up and they would put a scenario. So he would have to talk to the TV and diffuse the situation according to the scenario, right? Okay. He said, I passed all that, the mental, the physical, and so he got up there and he needed her signature. And she's like, hey, you're missing a signature. And he goes, I don't know how. I wouldn't be up here if I was missing one. She goes, oh, okay. And then like she goes, here, do me a favor. Could you go, and that was like red flag from number 1, right? She goes, could you go fill out this paperwork and for like 45 minutes and come back? And he was like, that's red flag number 2 for me. And he goes, okay. And so he's going to fill it out and stuff. 45 minutes later, comes back, hands it to her. And she goes, okay, well, like, I'll get back to you, like, next week or so. And before he leaves, she goes, takes a picture of him. And he thought that was weird. And I don't think I'm missing much stuff out of this, but, and so he's like, that was weird. And so next week, she doesn't call. So he calls her up. He's like, hey, I just want to understand, is it moving down again?
Yeah. There you go.
I just got to tighten this.
Yeah, just tighten her up.
Okay, so now I got to lower this.
No. But draw that. Do that one and then pull it.
Pull it back?
Yeah, there you go. And then now it's more centered. There you go. Cool.
Okay, so and she just said, "Oh, we found someone else." Da da da. And so obviously he's pretty pissed off. Sometime later, he gets in the mail about how this whole investigation or revelations came out about her and what was going on behind the scenes. So at the time, they were saying that basically they were trying to hire, not quote unquote, but I think they called out the chief, but they were trying to hire as many black people as possible.
Okay.
I guess to like make the police department look,
diversified,
and no longer has that bad image in his speech. So what she did was, so her husband is actually white.
Okay.
She was having an affair with a black police officer. And not only that, they had a black-only police Facebook page, like a group thing. And he was like, "That's a big no, because now you're segregating and stuff." And so what she did was she took a picture of him to send to her police boyfriend that she was having an affair with, to see if he was black enough.
Oh my God, dude!
Yeah. So he's telling me that. So then, here's the thing. Not only that, but like, everybody that was a part of that, and her husband knew too about the Facebook, the group page. I don't know if it's on Facebook, but a group page.
Yeah.
Everybody that was a part of it resigned. Like one chief would go be another chief somewhere else. And then like some of the officers still got to be what they wanted to be. The only person that got fired, because once you get fired, it's on your record, was hers.
Okay.
So she got all the shit in the end about it, but everybody else that was also part of it just moved on to be like another.
Yep, and then just stayed doing it. That's similar story to like the man that used to be Wichita Falls ISD superintendent.
Oh yeah, and keep following that dude.
Yeah,
I mean they need to keep following that dude until his death, man.
Yeah, basically, he just needs to be followed until he's the janitor at the place and has to, be one of the lower paid people on the totem pole. But yeah, dude, they
or just
straight
a different
up
field. Just don't even work in you should not be in the education field.
Yeah, and for sure not be managing money up to that scale, because it clearly wasn't a good job for him, because we see what WFISD as a whole came of it, and then I think they went to Victoria ISD, but they put out a statement over it and everything.
Yeah.
So he resigned his position. But that's like the power of social media. I was telling somebody, like, if they can get somebody to resign a job that they hadn't even started yet because of the power of social media, it really is possible, So if you have enough organization, then you can move mountains if you get enough people involved,
And so that, like, actually, I'll go on the same subject about the officers, and I'll go on another one. But have you heard of blue wall?
No.
Okay, so my mom heard, she's an attorney, but I was asking Garrett, I was like, dude, so why was this not reported? Why does no one report this stuff? Yeah. He goes, have you heard the term blue wall? And I was like, no. He goes, so basically it means...
That when they all kind of just hush.
No, that's when they leave you out to dry.
Oh.
Like you're out in a situation and you call for backup, they're not going to come.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah, that's very fucked.
Yeah.
So that's the blue walling. That's the thing. He goes, yeah, that's the thing. So that's why no one really tries to challenge stuff like that. They let slide because they'll. So I was like, damn, that's corrupt.
It is, man, and that kind of brings me to yesterday. I was speaking with Miss Kathleen Brown, and she was talking about her, accolades as an attorney. She's a private attorney. She runs her own office now.
Dude, she's got a lot of intellect.
Yeah, and then so she was explaining to me that she's an AV attorney, and that's basically just getting like an A+ on your report card as being an attorney. You can put that I'm an AV, like I've got judged by my peers and judges. And then she said that when they're reviewing you in that process, they're actually allowed to go anonymous so they can leave a real review. So no one has to be afraid of saying things like they clearly didn't have anything bad to say about her, but in another instance...
so the people that are reviewing her, right?
Are other attorneys and other judges, so peers from the area and people she's worked with that have real experience working with her. And then so they were able to actually give a real review, and I was like, that's actually good, because nowadays I feel like people are afraid to... say what's on their mind. I've seen a lot with, especially with cops, especially with what you just said. I watched a documentary about there's some cop, not one cop. There's a city, I think it was in LA, that they're basically not a sheriff's department, a cop group up there. Anyways, they basically turned into a gang and operated similar to the same gang members that they were trying to lock up, with just brutal, arresting power, whether they're just beating the crap out of people or confiscating drugs, turning around and selling the same drugs, just abusing that power. And so they're interviewing these people and talking about how, why didn't anyone speak up? Because there's clearly people in the office that weren't doing these things but knew about it. And they're like, it just goes against the bro code, the brotherhood code.
Yeah.
And you'll get exiled if you bring these things up to surface. So I like the fact that she was judged kind of anonymously, because that let the truth be out there. People could actually answer things rather than being worried about throwing somebody under the bus.
Did you ever see this video? It was on TikTok. It probably was on other platforms too, but it was just this judge who got pulled over by an officer. And his introduction, he goes, "You know who the fuck I am?"
Yeah, I did see that.
And he was like, "Oh, my bad, officer, or judge, have a good day." And I was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, he was like, "Run my fucking plates." Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, this is the world. It's so. I mean, obviously we can get into politics. But the thing I was going to ask you is, because you talked about the power of social media. Did you ever watch a documentary called "Don't Fuck with Cats"?
Yes, dude. Yeah, I was going to say that as well. All those strangers getting together and just piecing little bitty clips and snippets together of someone, I think that was hiding his identity the whole time, right? He was wearing like mask and not showing his face, but they picked up on outlets and colors of walls. And,
but who he was like, this dude is like, what is he? What
man,
is this dude?
He's a weirdo, but I mean, it goes to show.
Maybe it was just like he didn't have enough love in his life.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what.
Wasn't recognized,
Exactly.
and so like that one that just like shot up on the 4th of July. When that picture first came out. The one that like this 4th of July, that's shooting that happened. I can't remember his name.
In Wichita Falls?
No.
Oh.
This was like national. Like the one out. It was on the news. It was talking about because like that semi was like pretty military grade, is what they were saying. But the picture of him showed up, and you could look. It was like, man, no one was a friend to him.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like he had a friend.
Yeah.
And it's like it can really do that to people.
Yeah, for sure. And then we're finally learning, and I got to bring this up with John Gillespie, rather than just going immediately and being like, these people are sick, freak monsters, blah, 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 blah. We're finally starting to learn that if these people are doing, hurting somebody or killing people or maybe, sexually abusing people, there's a solid chance, probably a 90+% chance that something like that happened to them at some point in their life. And then they're, following the same sign of, or the same saying of hurt people. And then but now us as a society can realize that and then kind of put a thumb on it and be like, okay, let's get help to the people that are being abused at a young age now, and give them that love, give them those hugs, give them that appreciation, so they don't feel like
including them. But I was like, can we truly fix that? Because like
it would be a total overhaul of society,
Yeah, I mean, it's like you'd have to like nip that in the butt from like, because like there's cliques. There's like I think that's at the we're school or elementary and all that, middle school. Because I dealt with it. I dealt with bullying in 7th grade. And I was like, there's cliques, and it's just like we gotta be able to like, can we train them young enough to like, hey, you need to start, don't do that. Like, do we need to show them like this is what could happen,
right?
If you don't start like treating your peers like you
exactly. And I think those typical like school bullies that you think of, whether it be like your own personal experiences or just the shit you see on like Disney or whatever, the classic school bully, there's a solid chance that maybe the older brother or their parents were just whooping the shit out of them, and then he goes to school, and then he feels the same need to whoop the shit out of everybody else. And then now I think hopefully us collectively are seeing things like that and being like, whoa, let's not just get a child in trouble for picking on people. Let's dig a little deeper of like, hey man, why are you feeling the need to do this? And is there anything that we can do for you to get your headspace out of, I need to take it out on somebody else.
So that's another problem, I think, because my experience is like being able to open up. You need it, like, I think a lot of people like that, like confidence with themselves, or they don't want to like address their personal issues onto. Because like I went up to like this council when I was getting bullied. I didn't tell her shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so like it's another part where we got to also educate the people, like you can express yourself to them, and like you know, I was like one of my ideas, if I ever like get into office, like go for politics, is like we should add self-defense into schools.
Yeah.
Like it's a skill set.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's just good. I mean, it'd be hard to pass in any school board because they'd be like, well, we can't be teaching these kids fucking fighting moves because all they're going to do is just practice on each other. But the deal with people being trained, whether it be boxing, and we need to get to your boxing experience too. And then, yeah, I see you on social media talking about it, but then we can get to that. But whether it be, you know, boxers or wrestlers or, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever their hobby is, when people know how to control themselves in those situations, you're more responsible of a human. When you know that, if someone was to try hurting me,
you teach those lessons with them, you know, like, hey,
it's kind of like Texas with everyone having a gun. There's a lot less likely to be, you know, big shootings because a normal person's worried that that guy you just see walking down the road is concealed carrying.
So
you know?
I'm actually like, you probably know me. I'm pretty liberal, but when it comes to guns, I'm pretty like also on the conservative side.
Okay.
I actually was having this thought. So like, why don't we do a study where like we look at where the school shootings have been in? I would probably say they're probably bigger population cities, if I'm correct, right? Like they're mainly. I don't know, but if they are
a lot of them, yeah.
Why don't we just do it? Like saying, hey, like why don't we do it based on like population size? Because we know if school shootings or like shootings tend to happen in like bigger populated cities, then why don't you regulate more on those compared to the rural? Because that's mainly where the problem is. Like where people are against it, is like the rural. It's like we don't have the trouble here. You're right. So why don't we just like focus on where the trouble tends to be at and see how that works? You know,
I think people like to just blanket solutions with problems, or blanket, solutions basically, rather than looking at
like
an individual, case per case scenario. They're just like, wait, if we can come up with one idea that works for, you know, what's a huge school? The schools that are about to be built here, you know, if it works for that, then it'll work for Holiday and Petrolia ISD the same. And that's not true.
It's a different mindset.
So much difference in the culture of those types of things. But
you know what else I think, like, so this is like another political idea I've wanted to implement, because like, you know, taxes. Obviously that's a hot topic. People don't like them. People are okay with them.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them, right? But I'm like, hey, you know, why don't we do it to make sure it's fair to everybody? Like, if you're going to pay taxes, why don't we pay taxes to where, like, you believe in? Like, you know, like, okay, you believe in a stronger border security. Well, why don't you, you know, it'd be a hard process, but, like, structure it where, like, hey, you choose where you want your taxes to go to. That way, hey, if something's underfunded, the people chose. The people chose what they support. And then, you know, give the option, like, okay, if this is underfunded, you know, the people that do support that, like they pay their taxes to it, you could offer like, hey, are you okay with comfortably raising your taxes up to this percent to get this up to a level?
To help your interest out.
Yeah. And, you know, I think in the end, I think most people would probably be happy with that.
Yeah.
Because at least if your taxes are going to something you believe in.
Right.
You're not going to bitch to the other side of like, my taxes are going to like welfare or my taxes are going to military. I think there's some things that like, you know, all in all, people have to like, have to pay for, like
fire department. Yeah.
Like you ain't gonna turn down no fire department.
There's no NWA song about fuck the fire department.
But there's the thing is like, okay, so now do we make that subject about police? Like, okay, and then it's like we get in subject. All right, so if you don't want to fund the police, does that mean you get no support from the police?
Yeah, that gets weird right there.
I think if we could, I'm sure we could put in a system, right, where like, okay, like so on your taxes you showed, yes, I want to put my taxes towards the police. That way, if like a cop's like, hey, someone calls and respond, what's your name and your like address? Cool. They look at my registrar saying, oh, they didn't want to pay they don't want to pay to support us. Hey, unfortunately, you didn't support us in your taxes. We don't have to help you.
It's like what's it called? Unemployment tax. And then if you own a business, you don't have to pay unemployment tax on yourself. But that means you don't qualify for unemployment whenever you say your company goes belly up, and then.
Well, isn't that based on like what you are though? Like if it's like a sole proprietorship? Or?
Yeah, it all depends on your taxes and how you are paying. But like as a W-2 employee, your money's already getting pulled to provide that for yourself. That safety net. But yeah, things like that, it sure gets sticky. But here's the deal: is that they don't want to, and I say they, like small and local governments don't want to have that burden of them or on them to look at all those forms and see what Tanner voted on versus what Levi voted on. They want a pretty quick system of just go through checks and balances, easy peasy, and then throw it out the door.
Yeah, but that's not the problem that's part of the problem we're in
But
today.
man, they hired allegedly 87,000 IRS agents. So it's
IRS has actually been underfunded for a bit, so
Okay.
I'm okay with that because I think that's like people complain like I can't get I'm on hold for
Yeah.
IRS for a long
Yeah.
time. Like it is underfunded. And so that's a good thing. Although they should switch to where they just send us a bill of like, hey, here's how much you owe. Instead of us having to do the work. Because they can do that and make it easier for us to just not have to deal with that time.
Yeah, have you seen that joke? It's like a meme that's like talking to the IRS, and it's like, how much do I owe you? And they're like, I don't know. You have to guess. And they're like, okay, is it this much? I don't know. And then, was it this much? Well, can I just make up? No, you cannot. And it's like, well, what if I just send you less than what I owe you? Then you owe us your life. So it's like, man, it's such a funny game. And then there's so much that you can and can't put into it to whether it be benefit yourself or let it cripple your whole business if you're not on top of those things enough. And that's just one of those ugly tasks as a business owner. You could be the best pizza maker or best podcast host or whatever your trade is, but you still got to have at least some brain power going towards like, hey, what are our books looking like? What are, are we keeping track of everything?
Yeah, start doing books.
If you don't want to do it, then you need to have a good team member or hire it out to have a bookkeeper or a CPA. And then, so what does Stone Oven do on stuff like that?
So we learned the hard way.
Okay.
Man, I was actually getting the point. So we now do QuickBooks. I look at that, I'm not a CPA. I did the best I could on what I knew. So I have a good track record of where we're going at, you know. But man, for the first year, I didn't pay. We didn't do anything like that, and I'm not good with money. I'm a spender.
Okay.
I like making it rain. I'm like
everyone gets a block party.
Yeah. Dane is obviously the opposite, but I'm the one that's running it. So. Man, it took a while, but after we went through some funds like upgrading, because we had a phase where, and I'm gonna have to say this, I had to cut it short soon, because it's almost 3, and I gotta go do like a haircut soon. Okay, cool. But I have an appointment. My bad, man. I'm enjoying this. Where I was getting at.
Sorry, with Dane. And,
so there was a phase, like when we shut down the old location, we had a boost in sales like of this one, and then there's we kept growing, and it was during like winter time, and we just like sparked, and I was like, dude, we had like a lot of funds to bank, and I was like, man, we need to upgrade a lot of stuff, or else like this is our make or break kind of thing, to get to that threshold. So we upgraded the ovens. Cool. We got a fryer. Cool. Man, honestly, I'll say never do I don't think it was classified as a commercial air fryer, but it was like a hybrid, and that bitch sucked. Okay. That thing sucked for wings.
It's like a conventional oven and an air fryer?
Yeah. It's like it go up to 420, 400 degrees, and then it kick up to something else, but we only did the wings. Yeah. But that thing could not cook a wing fast. Okay. And that was problematic. Yeah. And it cost like $4,000 compared to like a fryer, which costs $1,200. Yeah. And I was like, I paid literally almost triple that amount, and it couldn't even perform what I needed to compared to an actual fryer. Because Dane wanted to not ever include oil again anymore, and wanted to he was like, let's just do that. I was like, cool, I'm cool with air fried wings, but the amount of times it took to just and you can only do like 8 or so at a time, and because if you put 2 trays in there, then it don't
cook thoroughly.
Yeah, it takes away from the heat, and I was like, this thing ain't working. So we had a big issue with our wings taking too long, and so the ovens, the wings, we added a warmer, We added some more tables. We added a single door fridge so we could put like dedicated for dough.
Heck yeah,
like
man.
yeah, but that was all like in a month. Like all our funds went pretty low,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, we got to watch what we're spending now. Yeah. And so then I was like, I'll get on QuickBooks and do the best I can, you know. So yeah, I recommend if anybody starts a business, just shell. I think it's like $100 a month. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And then do you actually take advantage of their bookkeeper, on QuickBooks? You just keep up with everybody, everything on there?
Yeah, I just pretty much look at like what our projections are. It shows like, you know, obviously we're on an incline.
Okay, yeah,
You know, I think I categorize everything right. The thing I have an issue is like it doesn't really show, I think, accurately the payroll.
Okay.
You know, so that's my issue about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, but what it's saying is what we're doing. So like I guess it's just like it's not really showing me that's factoring in, but it is. So yeah, I recommend you start a business, do bookkeeping.
Yeah, bookkeeping is one of the main topics of conversation for everybody that wants to go in, because that's such a daunting task, and then also capital
tax.
Oh
Yeah.
So,
that was another issue we were messing up on. So we were paying more our sales tax for a long time, and because you know I wasn't subtracting like I think DoorDash you can subtract it or Bite Squad because they already tax.
That's
when
right.
they give it to you. So you're supposed deduct it from our gross sales. But then I started sending that to Dane because he would do the sales tax. I'd send him like, hey, this is how much gross sales we did after deducting all that. But here's the problem he didn't realize. I thought he did realize was that we already have our sales tax in our prices. So when in the gross sales I'm sending you, not only is it deducted from DoorDash or Bite Squad, it also still has our tax on our end that you need to deduct from that.
Yeah.
So good luck to like getting that from the IRS or whatever, saying, "Hey man, we paid you more than we needed to."
Yep, you ain't getting it back. That's a comptroller right there. The IRS would pay you back if you were paying too much. Okay, yeah. But yeah, the comptroller's like, "Thank you for a new office chairs, Tanner. I appreciate that."
But have you been in the building that the comptroller's in?
Nuh-uh.
Dude, it's so cool. It's like,
really?
Yeah.
It's over by the post office, ain't it?
Yeah. I think it's like diagonal from the street, and not right across. But it's like the building outside is kind of like right. But you walk in, yellow walls, kind of like a little like blue, like kind of what I'm wearing. Yeah. And I was like, man, this kind of feels like a Great Gatsby era. Like it's kind of vibrant. It's kind of got some deco to it. Yeah. And I was like, I like this a lot. It's just there needs to be more of the building, like a bigger building with the style. It's really pretty to walk into. Cool. It's not that big, but. If you ever, and then they have these big plants in the lobby too. Yeah, definitely check it out when you go there.
I need to for sure. But I know you have to run. I wanted to ask if you wanted to try out these.
Yes, for sure.
It's called the world's strongest smelling salts, brought to you by one of my best friends, Jake Dickerson at Jake's Backhoe and Dozer Service. He bought me this bottle because he had another brand and was like, "Hey man, try it out." And I tried it. I put it straight up to my nose, and I was like, why is it not working? I was like, it's supposed to work. I watched him and all of his friends on his videos, and they were just choking out. And he said, I'm going to try to get that stuff we see on Joe Rogan. And then so some guy, I think it's...
So what's the purpose of this? It's
the way I heard of it was to like Olympic lifters and other bodybuilders and stuff that lift heavy. They just inhale this stuff and it like lights your senses on fire. It of course your sinuses, but it just it wakes you up.
Do we want to do it like Hunter Biden and just like snort it?
No. So it stays in the capsule, and then you'll open it away from you, and then don't get too big of a waft into it. Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna.
You want to go first?
You know what? Fuck it. I'll go first.
Cool.
Okay. Is there
give it a good little shake.
Okay, so the capsule's done, so we shake it?
Yeah, so shake it, and then when you're ready...
I can already smell it.
Yeah. It's got a little chlorine-ness to it.
Like so...
It'll wake you up, man. It'll wake you up. Dude. Yeah.
That went up one nose.
Do you know who Theo Vaughn is, the comedian?
Not at all.
Well, he described it as, I feel like they're rearranging furniture in my DNA. That's a pretty good way to put it. But yeah, man, it's the real deal. Here I go. So, wish us luck. Yup.
Oh man,
it's like breathing straight into a swimming pool.
I'm gonna work on my other nose though.
There you go.
I'm gonna.
There you go. If you do too, I'll do too. You're not supposed to do this too much in one day. It's similar to, have you ever seen in hospitals or like on movies or whatever, they have ammonia sticks? And then if someone's unconscious, a doctor comes up and cracks one right under someone's nose. It's very similar to this, if y'all are wondering. It's completely harmless. You're just not supposed to go overboard on it like we're about to do. So here goes round 2.
Man.
The second one wasn't as bad. So
No, I was lighter with that one. The first one, I wanted.
you went in, yeah. Man, it's legit. So you
like,
seen it. Tanner's the first person on air to do it
did
with
we make
me.
the noise too with it?
I mean, you can. I think we made plenty of noises with it. So, but yeah, you can just tell it'll wake you up big time.
Did they do that before they hit the weights?
Yeah, so I seen guys on TikTok, man, they'll have this like completely open, and I saw a guy last night, he's going just as hard as possible several times and just breathing it straight in, and this guy goes and, I don't know, squats a couple 100 pounds, so much more than...
I want to sneeze now.
Yeah.
You want to sneeze?
No, I don't know. Something must be wrong with my fucking sinuses. It got me the first time. I've only tried this kind once, and it got me super good the first time. This time wasn't as bad, but man, it lit you up.
I don't think I need that for the gym.
Man, well, Tanner, I want you to come back and we can just keep talking
shit. You know what
shit.
we should do next time?
Yeah.
I'm up for these challenges.
Okay.
We should do the wing challenge, man. Like eat the wings.
okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've had the hot one sauce.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
we
down to
could
do
try
whatever
that, and then we can, just have a sponsor from, just like this, sponsor from Stone Oven. We can do Stone Oven wings next time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then,
People like our wings. I air fry.
Cool.
Not air fry 'em. I use peanut oil.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then, man, that'll be fucking disastrous. We'll have to get a lot of PPE in here and different napkins and water and shit. So,
well, water wouldn't work the best. You typically need milk.
milk, yeah,
for
sure. But, man, I want you to come back and we can keep talking about just
Why?
business. And then I'm always excited to hear how people feel about running a business or whatever they're into.
I got like 3 minutes to tell you about business. I'll tell you, it's the best confidence builder you'll ever get. I mean, I will say this. I'm lucky to have a mother. I'm not crying because of her. I love my mom. I do love her. I'll cry for her. When I told you I met Dane, I ended up putting money into it, capital, because she helped me get a loan. And,
Cool.
I'm grateful for a parent who has the financial structure to help me in that, and also believes enough in me to do that. And it's got me this much. I've learned a lot, and it's helped me grow as a person.
Heck yeah, man. And how old were you whenever you bought in?
I think 23.
Heck yeah,
Yeah,
man.
so
That's exciting.
October 2019. So I know that not everybody gets that, luxury. And which is really interesting is it kind of goes on to another political debate. Is like, I think I read up that like Switzerland, I think, does where they do UBI. And they apparently have a good ratio of entrepreneurs there because...
Okay, explain UBI.
Universal Basic Income.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I was watching a video about it. And they say that basically because like they're allowed to have that, they're always going to be paid like this much a month. They're always been given this much a month. They can take entrepreneur risks, and if they fail, they're okay because they at the day where they're going to get something from the government. And that's how I, in a way, look at my mother. Like she was the government for me. She was like, I'm going to let you, and she supports me. So like I've been able to get this far with her behind my back. Yeah. And not everybody gets that, and that's the sad thing. Like so. Family values obviously need to be more like talked about or endorsed in America, and then like being able to support your kids to be able to do the things they want to do. I know that passions like, oh, I want to be a guitar player like in a band, right? Like, well, have a job until work that, but hey, if you're trying to start a business or invent something, like try to help them as much as you can through it. Because I'm able to do this because of her. Imagine if I wasn't. How many people want to do something. And they can't because they just
can't do it. Yeah, they don't have a good source of capital. And then that's what I really try bringing up on here. It's so important to either get a good relationship with someone like a parent or like a peer that could help you out, or a bank relationship. And that's why I
always taking loans from I did take a loan. So, but typically I think it was Mark Cuban who said, don't ever take a loan for your business. Like, don't even start a business with a loan, because you're always going to have to pay back that bank. Now, a loan from, like, I guess a person that that's a private investor, guess works out better because they're able to work with you like that. They're not going to demand, hey, I need that.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, that's another thing is like, hey, if you're going to start a business, like, just make sure you always have working capital. Have something else. Like, I know, like, Rhiannon, when she owned the spot, she said that she was, like, bartending during the day and would run the spot after, is what I think she told me. So it's like, it's a hard work. Like, day in and day out, I was, like, from 10 in the morning to like 9 o'clock at night, maybe 9:30 or 10. I was at Stone Oven 5 days a week.
That's right.
And then we opened up 6 days a week, and I did that, and then 7 for a little bit, and then I had enough capital and employees where I could start not working so much.
Heck yeah, man. That's what it's all about, dude.
I think it took a good over a year, but like, there's that.
You put that fucking hustle in though, man.
Yeah, and then every day I kept saying like, it's okay, it's gonna work out. Like, I just got to keep pushing for it, and that's another thing is don't give up just yet. There is a point where you do need to know when to quit up. That's another lesson. But I think when it comes to running a business, I think you write it out as much as possible. Because the first year, typically, it's always like you're in the negative. Yeah. Second year, you're even, and then third year, you're making profit.
Yeah, you should be aiming at profit by then, if not already. But I want to leave you with one thing before we go, just because you're my most recent business podcast. But I've been starting a new book. My wife put me on it. It's called Profit First. I forget the guy's name that writes it, but I can tag it in this video's description.
Yeah.
Super, super good. And he is teaching me and the other people that buy the book how to set up your bank accounts to automatically, when you get profit in, or not profit, when you get gross profit in, then it immediately goes to 5 different accounts. And then, but the catch is and I'm guilty of it, I'm sure Stone Oven's guilty of it, most businesses and entrepreneurs think, okay, I need to pay the bills first, and then get the expenses out of the way, and then we'll divvy out what we consider profit. And this guy's saying, pay yourself first. And if you're covered, then you can worry about the light bill, you can worry about paying the employees. And if you worry about profit first, everything follows suit. And he's like, if you get to the end where everything's divvied out, you've paid yourself first, and then you get to your bills and you realize that this now net profit, which is allocated for bill in your bill account, is less than what your actual bills are, then we need to start relooking at what you're charging, how much monthly income you're getting, and what your bills are. Maybe we need to slow down or downsize and maybe increase prices. So
I think from my friend who's in accounting, when we were talking about doing the nightclub together, he was like, so what he kind of structured is, you go 3 months, you put 30% of the profit you make, like the net revenue you make, net profit you make at the end of the month after expenses, everything. Put 30% of that in the bank. Like, keep that for emergencies. And then after the 3rd month, you take out you split, the portions to the owners. And so every quarter, Cool. So I was like, that's actually a good method. I like, like that. And he's really good with his money. Good. Like, so I trust his sound advice with that. And it makes sense because, I know I'm a spender, and I need to learn the value or the lesson, I guess, of saving. I need to learn to be a better saver. Yeah. Because I guess that's the problem with the economy. Everybody likes to spend. Yeah. Not enough people like to save. So.
And you get that shiny penny syndrome of where you're like, oh, that would increase sales. That would increase sales. If we got that would drive more foot traffic, whatever it is. So.
And that's on end day. Everything I've spent has always been for Stone Oven. I've never been like, I'm going to go
buying stupid shit.
Yeah. No, I might have gone out and like, got some drinks, like I might have gone out and like, but I tend to write a check and pay myself out for that, to keep for accounting. Yeah. And also not to get audited. Yeah. That's the thing.
There you go.
Don't get audited. Dane's like, we don't want that, man. That thing's just be a bitch. And I'm like, I'm with you. So like, I used to be at the beginning, you used to not be able to like, you're supposed to deposit your cash, like, and sometimes I'd be like, hey, I'm going out at night. I don't want to write a check and have to go cash it. Like I just want to go in there and spend the money. I have a budget. I'm not going to spend all the cash.
Yeah.
But he was like, dude, I understand that, but trust me, we need to do that because if we get audited, it's going to be a very messy subject. And that's because, like, we just can tend to follow the bank instead of, like, always keeping receipts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there you go. And so that sounds like you've fallen into a good match where you have a certain set of skills and so does Dane, and y'all balance each other out.
I'm the creative side. He's definitely the financial. And see, that's another thing about my friend Colton. Like, when we go to do this club is, like, I'm the creative side. He's the financial. And I think both sides need that balance because, like, it just blends so well. And he's taught me a lot. Like, I still have a lot of lessons to learn, but granted, I'm like, that dude knows a lot. He has a lot of insight. Like you said, your dad been around the ringer a lot. And I look forward to meeting people like that to learn lessons.
For sure. And that's what I wanted to do with this podcast was get people like you and others that have actual real world boots on the ground experience and then let other people learn from it,
Yeah.
And then I feel like I
don't know if I give enough advice today.
No, I mean you did for sure. And I think people can hear the short stories that you had and then take it into consideration while doing what they're doing. So,
yeah, and I mean,
but we can get you back on and we can talk about whatever the hell we want to. We can talk about spaceships and aliens. I don't fucking care. We can do smelling salts the whole time.
Oh my god!
But yeah, I mean,
that was rough. To the audience that ever listens to you, it's like that's a good prank to do on someone.
Yeah, it says do not open under other. It's for personal use only. Don't open under other people's noses or something. There's a big warning that came with it.
Yeah, I'm saying that's a good prank. Like, how much was that bottle?
I don't know. Jake bought it for me, so.
I'm gonna look up that and see if I can buy it because that's a good prank to do with people. Oh my god,
it's legit. But man, if you got to get out of here, let's get you going so you don't have to miss your appointment. But we did a cool hour and 50 minutes. I'll cut a little bit of this out. We hung out. And,
typically, how much do you do? Like 2 hours?
2 to 3 is normal.
Oh,
Marcus went to 3.5, and he's like, "Did we set a record?" And I was like, "You set a lot of records today."
You're like, "Man, you were beating my record." I was like, "I'm like trying to find a way to cut out of this."
Yep.
No, so yeah, I usually think podcasts like I thought do an hour. So how much was Kathleen's?
Kathleen's was short because she didn't tell me. It was a mix-up of scheduling errors that I had with. I was originally planning on sitting down with Kathleen's scheduler named Kristen, and Kristen is a very active political activist. And I was going to sit down with her, talk about all of her experiences. Well, she had a school meeting or something pop up, and she was like, "Here, I'll just give you Kathleen. She can come talk for a while, blah, blah, blah." So I don't think Kathleen was prepped. And if I would have known she had to leave so early, we would have just prepared for another day. So
yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm hoping it's at 3:30. You know, if we can keep going, let me check real quick.
Yeah. But yeah, so she did right at an hour. So I was like, man, I have so many more questions for a potential congresswoman. Like their opinion actually matters. A lot of public officials or elected officials, their political opinion doesn't matter, if you're just in charge of fixing roads. And then so, like, your opinion on abortion doesn't matter if you're just in charge of setting a budget for a county or, fixing roads, whatever. But in her position, representing Texas, that's a huge, huge position to have. So yeah, I had so many questions for her, and she was like, "Yeah, I got to get out of here. I got another podcast to go to." And I was like,
ouch.
Didn't know about that one.
Yeah, ouch. Yeah. So like I said.
What's your schedule looking like?
Well, she hasn't responded.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh, I got it. Like now.
Okay.
But I'll say this on note. See, I'm enjoying it. So I took political science, and that I wish for the best. It's just the sad thing about citizens is they don't engage in the politics like they should. It's like. So you'll have like the incumbent, and they'll tend to vote for the incumbent because they know the name, and they just they don't tend to look for the smaller chains like your U.S. representative.
Exactly.
So, and that's the problem. I think that she's gonna have to obstacle again. It's like you got the incumbent. It's pretty conservative. I think she's great. I think she has a lot of ideas. I just know from political science that it's very challenging for someone. You gotta have money to start, and you gotta have people with money behind you. So. I just hope people turn out. You know, they're going to vote. You know?
And that's what I wanted to do with this podcast was at least just put the information out there and make it fucking cool again.
Yeah.
But Tanner, I really enjoyed it, man.
Thank you, man.
Let's do it again.
I've been waiting for this.
I know.
Yeah.
I got him on the line long time ago before I ever even went on air and said, Tanner, I know I have to have you on this show. So we finally made it happen. We're going to do it again soon because we didn't get to talk long enough.
No, we can go way further deep into it. So,
yeah. Well, Tanner, thank you, man.
You have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Oh, man.